Chapter 741, Lu Shu's Cards. The Black Kunlun Mountains were covered by the white snow. It looked very beautiful. Lu Shu led the way to Death Valley. Wang Yan and the rest chased after them. If you go, what are we supposed to do? None of them felt safe at all. He had just said that everyone in the base had vanished into thin air. Who would dare to relax there? Bringing them to Death Valley was even more dangerous. Lu Shu thought about it and said, Then Teacher Luo, stay here and protect them. From Luo Bei's distress, plus 499. Luo Bei laughed. I definitely have more experience in the wild. I will be more useful as a member of a team. Why don't we let Chao Qingxi stay here? She is stronger. Even if I stay here, I think we will still face a lot of danger. Lu Xiaoyu suddenly said, why don't we go back first? We can send them back before making our next move. Lu Shu had an idea. He knew that Lu Xiaoyu understood his glance. Earlier, Lu Shu had thought that he did not want to enter Death Valley so rashly. But he could not admit that he had the ability to know the names of others. This ability and the celestial map were closely linked. He had always been able to earn distress points and know the real names of others since he started training. He knew that his life experiences would not be easy. In this ever-changing world, what if people found clues because he exposed some of his special qualities? Thus, Lu Shu did not want to expose information about his abilities and wanted Lu Xiaoyu to say this. Wang Yan also gave a good opportunity. But Lu Shu suddenly realized that Luo Bei dreaded Chao Qingxi, a Class B expert. If not, why would he want to leave her behind here? Lu Xiaoyu said, why don't we escort them back and return? After all, it'll only take a few days. This place is too dangerous. Didn't you say that Class C experts had vanished into thin air? It's probably not enough to have only one person keeping guard here. No one knows what dangers there are. That's a waste of time, said Luo Bei. We have never seen this blue light above Death Valley. Who knows whether there will be a great discovery if we explore? What if we come back and miss the opportunity? It's not impossible. If not, Lu Shu and I will go. The rest of you can stay here and protect everyone else. Lu Shu was truly dumbfounded. If one did not know that Luo Bei's identity was strange, this would still sound rational. But knowing that there was something odd about his identity, Luo Bei actually suggested that he and Lu Shu should enter Death Valley together. Was Luo Bei targeting him? Why? Did he expose something about Luo Bei? Lu Xiaoyu was about to speak, but Lu Shu suddenly said, okay, then it's been decided. Teacher Luo and I will go in and see what's happening. The rest will wait here. From this point onwards, Lu Shu decided to call Luo Bei Teacher Luo. He was worried that he would accidentally leak his real name. Lu Shu was very good at handling small details like this. Wang Yan and the rest heaved a sigh of relief. They had seen how strong Lu Xiaoyu was. With these experts to protect them, they felt very safe. They were relieved, but Chen Zuan and the rest were not. Chen Zuan suddenly said, Brother Shu, I'll follow you. The rest should be enough to protect everyone. Wang Yan and the others took action. If Chen Zuan stayed here, there would be one more person to protect them. Stop him. Don't let him go with them. Suddenly, someone whispered, let's not make any trouble. After all, this fatty doesn't seem very strong. If he wants to go, let him go. Chen Zuan was rendered speechless. Although a practitioner's sense of hearing was not particularly strong, it was still stronger than ordinary people. Was it right to say that he did not seem strong just beside him? Lu Shu calmly said, Zuan, stay here and protect them.
Ha! Ha!
Chen Zuan laughed coldly. I won't protect them. They are like parasites. Why should I protect them? Brother Shu, I will follow you. Lu Shu was speechless. Why are you causing trouble at such a crucial time? Lu Shu had a headache. Then let's bring Zwan along, said Luo Bei with a smile. Xiaoyu, Qingxi and Xiuqiu here should be sufficient. Suddenly, Lu Xiaoyu coldly said, Did I allow you to call me Xiaoyu? Don't try to be friendly with me. From Luo Bei's distress, plus 199. Zhang Yanfeng suddenly felt that he had never seen this kind of student-teacher relationship in his entire life. Lu Shu calmly pondered. He could not reject Luo Bei again. That would be too much. He did not expect Shen Zuan to suddenly cause so much trouble either. Okay. Let's go. Lu Shu led the way to Death Valley. Chen Zuan and Luo Bei followed behind him. For some reason, Luo Bei was always at the back. Snowy mountains were tiring for practitioners to travel on. The snow was knee-high and they felt as if they were stepping on cotton, cushioning the impact. The three of them approached the blue light. Suddenly, a giant claw appeared from the blue light and charged towards Lu Shu. Lu Shu did not dodge in time and was hit by the giant blue claw. Chen Zuan quickly tried to save Lu Shu. But he realized that Lu Shu was not with him. He just blankly stood there without moving. Whoosh! Chen Zuan heard the sound of a weapon behind him. He quickly dodged and his spirit chi armor protected him. Even with his fast reflexes, there was still a cut on his left rib. Chen Zuan was panicking. Brother Shu? Brother Shu? This fellow is weird. Wake up. But Lu Shu continued to stand there without moving. It was as if he had lost consciousness. Had the people who disappeared experienced a similar fate? Luo Bei laughed. There's no use calling him anymore. Once you let your guard down here, it's irreversible. Sorry, Chen Zuan. The dragon god specifically wanted him. I have to kill him. He flinched as the cold wind came into contact with his wound. He gasped in shock. Then attack him. Chen Zuan was confused. Was it not enough for you to attack Lu Shu? Why did you have to attack me? At that moment, the snowy ground to the right of Luo Bei suddenly exploded. Another Lu Shu appeared and had a strand of the sparrow shade on hand, ready for the kill. But because of the blue light, the sparrow shade slowly disappeared. Lu Shu had been hiding here for 1 day. The snow had even covered him fully. Back then when he had called Lu Xiaoyu for the first time, he had summoned a clone and left the group. He had secretly made a substitute. Every day, he said that he was going on patrol. But he did not do so. Neither did he enter the Death Valley. Instead, he intentionally created an opportunity for him to escape from their field of view, and find a place that was ideal for him to lie in ambush. He did not fear Luo Bei. He feared the person behind Luo Bei. Lu Shu had led the way to Death Valley to bring them to where he was waiting in ambush. He also wanted to see what was strange about the blue light. He had created a clone as a scapegoat. This was Lu Shu's true potential. He just wanted to see what this Luo Nan was planning to do. But Lu Shu did not expect Shen Zuan to cause him so much trouble. Chapter 742, Chop the Mountain. When Lu Shu reached the base and saw Luo Nan's photo, he did not go back. Instead, he had called Lu Xiaoyu. After that, he told Zhang Yanfeng that they had to wait 3 days before his teammates came. Back then, Lu Xiaoyu did not immediately tell everyone about the news. She had used Johnson's materialization powers to create Lu Shu's clone that would head to Death Valley first. She only told everyone about the news after half a day. After the clone arrived, Lu Shu switched places with the clone, before Lu Xiaoyu and the rest came to the base. The one who had returned from the snowy mountain was not Lu Shu, but the clone. Lu Shu himself had been hiding in the snow and quietly waiting. This was a secret agreement between Lu Shu and Lu Xiaoyu. He felt that there were a lot of problems with teacher Luo, thus he gave himself another layer of protection. Luo Bei did not think that another Lu Shu would appear beside him. So the Lu Shu earlier had been a clone. He had never heard of this before. In the past, people thought that one would be able to make countless clones with materialization, but this was impossible in real life. Human intelligence was much higher than that of other species and could not be cloned. Lu Shu was probably the only person in the world who could clone himself. He had to make use of the materialization type soul that Lu Xiaoyu controlled. Lu Xiaoyu had tried to make a clone of herself, but failed. The 72 strands of sparrow shade suddenly appeared from the ground and trapped Luo Bei within. Luo Bei tried to run. But he had barely moved before cuts started to appear on his skin and clothes. Luo Bei did not dare to act rashly. He knew that Lu Shu had the power to kill him instantly. Any tricks he had up his sleeve were no use against this absolute power. His only option was to let Lu Shu walk into the blue light and have his consciousness controlled. He could even walk in first and show that the blue light was harmless. But Lu Shu was much more careful. Lu Shu looked at the wound on Chen Zhuan's rib. "You'll be fine. As long as it's not a fracture, you will heal very quickly. Brother Shu." Chen Zhuan seemed to be filled with grief. "I have been treated unjustly. You'd better take responsibility. Did I let you follow us?" Lu Shu calmly asked. "Also, who did you ask him to attack just now?"
Ha! Ha! Ha!
Chen Zhuan laughed awkwardly. "I was just joking." From Chen Zhuan's distress, plus 499. He had said too much. He did not expect Lu Shu to be lying in ambush either. What should he do? How could he prevent Lu Shu from having a grudge against him? This was urgent. Lu Shu did not care about him. He turned and looked at Luo Bei. "Come down with me. Then we'll talk. Don't act rashly." He did not want to stay here any longer. He did not know what that blue light was. This place was too dangerous. Lu Shu guessed that the being below the Death Valley was not very strong. It might be similar to that massive man-eating lizard. But why didn't it come out and settle this once and for all? Why did it want Luo Bei to bring them down? The three of them came to the hillside. The sparrow shade trapped Luo Bei in like a cage. Lu Shu turned and asked, "Who exactly are you? Where is Luo Nan?" Luo Bei smiled. "I am Luo Nan." Lu Shu did not fall for this trick again. No matter how much he denied, his real name would not change. He said, "There is a myth that a dragon is frozen below the Kunlun Mountains. Teacher Luo, have you heard of this myth before?" From Luo Bei's distress, plus 99. Lu Shu glanced at the system's back end. He had said that he wanted to bring Lu Shu to the dragon god. This dragon god was very likely related to the dragon that was frozen below the Death Valley. "Let me guess." Lu Shu said, "You want to bring me down there? I have something that this dragon god wants. Am I right?" From Luo Bei's distress, plus 99. Luo Bei remained silent. Suddenly, the sparrow shade pierced through Luo Bei's legs. Luo Bei crouched on the ground. The white snow was dyed red. Chen Zhuan silently stood at the side. This was probably his first time seeing how much murderous intent Lu Shu had. In the past, he had been very merry. Although Chen Zhuan was slightly hurt by him, he was also willing to joke around with Lu Shu because most of the time, he got along well with Lu Shu. Lu Shu was grateful and sought ways to return others' kindness. He humiliated people over small matters, but he did not play around during crucial times. But the current Lu Shu was suddenly very similar to Principal Nia. It was as if he would not even bat an eyelid while killing others. So this was Lu Shu when he was truly angry. "You just need to answer one question." "What does that fellow down there want that I have?" asked Lu Shu. This was what he wanted to know the most. Before he could finish speaking, a massive wave of energy suddenly came from the sky.
Oh no.
Lu Shu looked up in shock. He saw a black silhouette breaking through the clouds. While the person was still high up in the sky, a sword slashed the blue light. A giant sword fell from the sky and cut the blue light into two halves. Even the snowy mountain seemed as if it was about to break into two halves. Lu Shu turned and ran down the mountain. He had just taken 2 steps before turning back and carrying Chen Zuan on his shoulders. Niating, screw you. Niating's angry voice sounded from the sky. Stop complicating things. The blue light rapidly retreated back into the Death Valley. Crash. Lu Shu turned back and looked. Snow had collapsed. Even the mountain had been chopped into halves. Sure, Xuejin had said that Niating was only 1 step away from an advancement. He probably had to receive a divine punishment. Thus, it would be best to learn from Lu Shu's experiences and see what method would be the safest. But Niating had never asked him. The threat from a peak Class A made Lu Shu run for his life. He was afraid that he would be affected too. A few hours ago, Lu Shu was still thinking whether he had misunderstood Niating. From the look of things, Niating did not seem to be playing around with him. But now, Niating had appeared. Chen Zuan was wailing. Brother Shu, Brother Shu. What in the world happened? Why is Principal Nie here? Lu Shu angrily said, this is not the first time he has done this. Back then, when I participated in the military training for Class A geniuses, he used me as bait on the train. I dare to bet that if he is not using me as bait this time, I will use your head as a soccer ball. Chen Zuan said, is there something wrong with your logic? From Chen Zuan's Distress, plus 666. Chapter 743, Slaughter the Dragon. Niating had not stopped. His black cape flapped in the wind. Niating's expression was very calm. He coldly stared at Death Valley. A horizontal cut that spanned over a few hundred meters had appeared in Death Valley. The peaks of the 2 mountains beside Death Valley had been chopped off. There was a gigantic cave below Death Valley. The cave did not seem to have been formed by natural means. One could even see a flight of man-made stairs leading into the abyss in the sun. Lu Shu carried Chen Zuan and ran down. There was a ridge downhill. They would be safe as long as they reached the ridge. Lu Shu ran wildly. Chen Zuan shouted, Brother Shu, run faster. It was as if they were surfing and a massive wave was behind them. They could only escape being buried by the snow if they continued to run. Although they definitely would not die given their physique, who wanted to be buried if they could run? They finally reached the ridge of the mountain. The wave of snow was like a swift, continuous current. Chen Zuan and Lu Shu's faces were covered in frost. Their eyebrows, eyelashes, hair, and even their clothes were covered in snow. Chen Zuan blankly stared at the wave of snow. Brother Shu, did you forget about Luo Nan? The moment the snow collapsed, neither Lu Shu nor Chen Zuan was in the most despair. As the wave of snow approached, Luo Bei suddenly realized that Lu Shu had forgotten to keep his sparrow shade when he was running away. He spun around as the 72 strands of sparrow shade continued to trap him in. If he moved any further, he might die. The wave of snow was already right in front of him. Luo Bei looked at the snow in fear as it was about to engulf him. He did not even dare to move. Oh my God. From Luo Bei's Distress, plus 999. The next moment, the wave of snow buried him in a world of white. Silence was restored. Lu Shu shouted into the sky, you knew that there is something wrong this Luo Nan, didn't you? Won't it be enough for you to just kill him? Why are you allowing him to harm others? Niating glanced at Lu Shu. I was just passing by. Just you wait. You're in big trouble. Lu Shu was furious. But Niating did not bother to reply to him. He said calmly, "Follow me." Nie Ting went into the cave in the abyss, as if he did not care about any possible dangers below. The mountains that surrounded Death Valley were rather even, but now, the surface of the mountain had collapsed. Lu Shu and Chen Zuan climbed up and looked. When Chen Zuan saw the large cut, he gasped in shock. "Brother Shu, I think it's better for you to not oppose Principal Nie." Lu Shu did not listen to him. He kept the sparrow's shade, but did not care about Luo Bei. That fellow was probably still alive. But his knees had been fractured by the sparrow's shade. Even if he was able to escape from the pile of snow, he probably could not run far. The two of them ran down. They stood by the abyss and looked down at Nie Ting below. Chen Zuan asked softly, "Are we going down?" "No, let him see what's happening down there," said Lu Shu as he curled his lips. Nie Ting looked up and saw the two of them. "Why are you not coming down?" Lu Shu laughed coldly. "Maybe it's because I'm an audit student. Wait a moment. I'm going down now." Lu Shu glanced at Nie Ting. He was probably holding a knife under his cloak. He quickly changed his plans and brought Chen Zuan down with him. They observed their surroundings. The sunlight shone down into the cave like a beam of light. They could see a flight of stairs leading downwards, as well as drawings on the wall along the stairs. A lifelike Panlong one had been drawn on the wall. It was being worshipped by countless people. In the next drawing, the Panlong was swallowing clouds and summoning rain. The people on the ground were harvesting crops. As they walked down the flight of stairs, Lu Shu took out his sun mirror to light the way. Nie Ting was also looking at the drawings very carefully. Suddenly, Lu Shu felt that chaos in the Seal of Lands had awakened and was seething with excitement. It was as if it wanted to come out. Lu Shu secretly looked at Nie Ting. He had never told anyone that he was keeping a dragon. But now, Lu Shu was fired up. Last time, and the time before that, no matter when it was, the small chaos dragon always awakened when it could take advantage of the situation. Chaos had been sleeping for a very long time. While it slept, it had grown scales on its body. Its claws were also very sharp. It had grown to over 10 meters long. Its waves of energy was almost on the same level as that of Lu Shu. The fact that it had awakened was of great use to Lu Shu. After he had lost his mystic water, Lu Shu felt very unsafe, as if he had lost a trump card. But his mystic water had turned into an even more powerful dragon. No matter whether Hai Gongxi said that it was an evil dragon or not, as long as it could help him in fights, it was a good dragon. The drawings slowly started to change. There was a drawing that had been wiped clean by someone. Following that, there was a drawing of a person with clothes as white as snow. It was trapping the dragon in the Kunlun Mountains. Lu Shu suddenly felt that this person looked familiar, but he could not recall who it was. Furthermore, the drawing that had been wiped clean was very strange. It was as if an important part had been cut off. Why had the worshipped dragon suddenly become an enemy? He did not know what the dragon had done either. There was suddenly the sound of footsteps below them. Lu Shu shone his sun mirror and discovered that it was Wang Zhe. Wang Zhe seemed to have lost his mind and was running towards them. There were even a few young men wearing the Heavenly Network uniform behind him. Nie Ting walked forward but did not kill him. He simply knocked all of them unconscious. What happened to them? Lu Shu asked curiously. "They're just being controlled," said Nie Ting. He continued to walk forward. Finally, they reached a door. The door was made out of an unknown material. It resembled metal, but it was not metal. There also seemed to be a slight shine, like that of stars. There was an opening in the center of the door. Lu Shu looked at this and felt that this material was very interesting. Would he be able to take a piece home? Nie Ting suddenly said, "Take out the Chang'ing sword." Okay. Lu Shu agreed and used the Chang'ing sword to cut off a small piece of the door. From Niating's distress, plus 666. Stop that, said Niating expressionlessly. Insert the Chang'ing sword into that opening. Lu Shu was shocked. Didn't you say that you were just passing by? Why didn't you tell me that there was such a big secret behind the Chang'ing sword? Wait. There was a dragon trapped here. Hai Gongzi's real form was that of a white panlong. Sure, Xuejin said that Hai Gongzi had died while saving others and had no choice but to use the Chang'ing sword to rear ghosts. Did Hai Gongzi have something to do with the dragon that was trapped here? If not, why would the Chang'ing sword be the key this door? When Lu Shu inserted the Chang'ing sword into the opening, he saw Hai Gongzi appear from the Chang'ing sword, dressed as white as snow. Lu Shu was shocked. Wasn't he the person who had trapped the dragon? Was Hai Gongzi so strong back then that he was able to trap a dragon underground? Wait, Hai Gongzi was a dragon as well. Back then when he asked Hai Gongzi whether they killed evil dragons, Hai Gongzi replied that it was his family member. So why was this dragon trapped here? Niating said calmly, Hai Gongzi, please open the door. I am here to slaughter the dragon. Hai Gongzi looked at Lu Shu. You are the current owner of the Chang'ing sword. You decide. Lu Shu was dumbfounded. What did this have to do with him? Chapter 744, The Story Behind the Dragon Clan. After Lu Shu had inserted the Chang'ing sword into the opening, he watched as Niating and Hai Gongzi talked with an uninterested expression. Suddenly, Hai Gongzi turned and said that since he was the owner of the Chang'ing sword, he should decide whether to open the door or not. What was this? Lu Shu was at a loss. No one had told him that the owner of the Chang'ing sword would have such a heavy responsibility. Yu Mingyu had just brought it over for him. Back then, Niating even said that he had to be patient. But no one told him why he had to be patient. Why did he suddenly have to make such a major decision? Lu Shu was unhappy. Can't you discuss this among yourselves? Why do you have to drag me in? Why didn't you tell me about this in the past? Can you explain to me what's up with that Luo Nan guy? And why is this dragon trapped here? Lu Shu did not believe that this had nothing to do with Niating, as without the Chang'ing sword, the door would not open. Niating definitely wanted to bring him here, as the key and as bait. Had the dragon been trapped here because of the Chang'ing sword? No one was hiding the truth here. Lu Shu had taken on others' appearances many times. He would be able to tell. Chaos was now churning in the Seal of Lands. There was definitely something here that it wanted to eat. Lu Shu was thinking about how to allow chaos to take advantage without anyone noticing. Lu Shu did not want anyone to know that he had a panlong. Hai Gongzi looked at Lu Shu. Let that small, evil dragon out. There is a good opportunity for it inside. Since it has the courage to transform into a dragon, that opportunity should belong to it. Niating was astonished. He looked at Lu Shu. So that divine punishment happened because a snake had transformed into a dragon. Lu Shu said, "What are you talking about? I don't understand." As he spoke, Lu Shu was about to make Hai Gongzi return into the Chang'ing sword. But Hai Gongzi said calmly, "Stop hiding. It's a black evil dragon that is over 10 meters long. Its name is Chaos." Lu Shu looked down and searched the Seal of Lands. Where are my green beans? What are you talking about? From Hai Gongzi's distress, plus 567. Ao Xian probably felt the heavenly punishment as well. The heavenly punishment has not occurred for a long time. Thus, he controlled human beings and found clues that you have chaos with you. He wanted to use it to recover his soul. Lu Shu was dumbfounded. Then why didn't you do the same? There was a sudden, indescribable air of haughtiness from Hai Gongzi. I, Ao Hai, will never do such a shameful thing. Chaos is intelligent. How could I take its body for my own sake? Lu Shu was dumbfounded. Although Hai Gongzi criticized his swordplay and had severe OCD, he was the kind of person that Lu Shu rarely saw. He was proud, but honest. He had great strength of character. So, what exactly did that dragon do? Lu Shu asked. His very first question had not even been answered. I can't say, said Ao Hai calmly. Lu Shu was silent.
Ha! Ha!
Listening to the words of a wise man is a waste of 10 minutes. From Ao Hai's distress, plus 133. Something else he could not reveal? Back then, when Lu Shu asked Li Xianyi about the puppet master, Li Xianyi had replied that he could not tell him. Now that they had encountered a dragon, Ao Hai would not tell him either. Did this have something to do with the puppet master? To be honest, Lu Shu was worried. After all, the Golden Foundation now only had one Class A, but there were two puppet masters. He knew that the Golden Foundation had been tracking down the whereabouts of the puppet masters, but he did not know why he had never seen the Golden Foundation meet the puppet masters. Was there something he did not know about? Nia Ting raised his eyebrows. Open the door. Lu Shu looked at Nia Ting. He was obviously hiding a knife underneath his cloak. He turned and calmly said to Hai Gongzi, open the door. Hai Gongzi pointed at the Chang'ing sword. The sword was like a ripple on water. Crash. The entire door was raised upwards from the ground. The entire Death Valley started to shake. Chen Zuan obediently stood behind Lu Shu. He did not speak or fidget. He was afraid that something would happen to him. Everyone present was a boss. He had no say in this conversation. After the door had completely opened, Nia Ting walked in. There was a massive altar in the cave. An old man sat cross-legged on the stage. When Lu Shu saw this, he was dumbfounded. The dragon stage. Back then in the Lop Nur remains, Lu Shu had seen this dragon stage. The dragon stage back then was much smaller than this one. Even then, it was able to revive thousands of bronze-armored soldiers of the sea. But why was there a similar dragon stage here? The old man opened his eyes and looked at Lu Shu. One cannot judge a book by its cover. So you recognize the dragon stage? You? No, wait. Lu Shu interrupted the old man. What does judging a book by its cover have to do here? Is there something wrong with my appearance? Tell me. From Ao Xian's distress, plus 666. Was Lu Shu really taking him seriously? He was just speaking casually. Hai Gongzi and Nia Ting calmly looked at Lu Shu. Chen Zuan gasped in shock. How did Lu Shu think of that? Lu Shu also realized that he had said something odd. Continue. Ao Xian sat on the dragon stage and calmly looked at Nia Ting, Hai Gongzi, Lu Shu and Chen Zuan. What was he going to say? Ao Xian suddenly felt as if he had been hit by a stick. His emotions were all over the place. Uncle, did you ever think that this day would come? Hai Gongzi asked. This Ao Xian was actually Hai Gongzi's uncle. He continued. Back then, you killed the Dragon Clan and humans to create the Dragon Stage for the ancient Yi clan, so that you could exchange it for immortality from them. But you never thought that you had to depend on the Dragon Stage to linger with your last breath. This time, Lu Shu was truly shocked. Ao Xian had killed his own clan. No wonder Hai Gongzi had made a move. Ao Xian calmly said, back then, magical energy was growing more and more scarce. Our numbers were dwindling as well. Even if I didn't, they would die soon after. Everyone will eventually die, said Hai Gongzi. I can understand that you want to live a long life, but I cannot forgive you for killing them. Lu Shu suddenly felt that this world was very different from the myths that people had made up. He did not know about Ao Xian, nor did he know that there was this background story during the magically scarce era. The information that he received was that this world was once filled with magical energy, but for some reason, it had disappeared. Chapter 745, Not Serious at All. Lu Shu found out that at some point in history, magical energy had grown scarce and the population of the Dragon Clan started to dwindle. It was probably not because of a massacre. Instead, there might have been a problem with the continuation of the Dragon Clan. Had it become difficult for them to give birth? Lu Shu was not too sure. Another possibility was that the Dragon Clan needed great amounts of magical energy. It was hard for them to survive like they had in the past during the magically scarce era. Every species had its flaws. Even the powerful Dragon Clan, who were destined to overlook humans, had to rely on magical energy to survive. Ao Xian tried to convince Hai Gongzi. Ao Hai, we are the only two survivors of the Dragon Clan. But we can only linger on with our last breaths. Have you never thought about how to continue our bloodline? If I am able to recover my soul, there is a possibility that the Dragon Clan will continue to exist. What will you choose? Hai Gongzi was silent. Lu Shu interrupted Ao Xian. Sorry, let me interrupt. Do you have female dragons? Niating, Hai Gongzi, and Chen Zuan once again looked at Lu Shu in silence. Ao Xian. From Ao Xian's distress, plus 666. Lu Shu continued. How will you continue your bloodline with two male dragons? Even if you recover your soul, there is only one dragon in this world. That doesn't make sense. After the dawn of the magically rich era, the Dragon Clan will find a glimmer of hope, said Ao Xian calmly. But my chaos can do that too. Lu Shu could not understand why only Ao Xian could do this. Ao Xian said, because it has not discovered the method to live forever. It is said that the barrier of the exiled land is slowly cracking. If not, why do you think that the concentration of magical energy is increasing? The exiled land has the secret to living forever. That's enough. Hai Gongzi interrupted him. You shouldn't be worrying about that. I'm afraid that you won't be able to live that long. There are some things that you should just bring into your grave. Lu Shu was surprised. This exiled land definitely had some secret that Li Xianyi and Hai Gongzi had to keep quiet about. But why? Was there some reason why they could not reveal this secret? Ao Xian looked at Hai Gongzi's nervous expression and laughed. Don't worry. You don't even dare to say his name or talk about him. Do you think this way, his power will not increase? Hai Gongzi silently looked at Ao Xian. Suddenly, he said, at least the barrier has not actually cracked for now. Throughout the entire conversation, Niating listened as he gripped his knife. It seemed as if he was in no rush to make his move. What Lu Shu did not know was that some things were also a secret to Niating. Niating's teacher had once talked about a few things, but did not go into detail. Thus, Lu Shu felt that Niating was now listening to the conversation as an onlooker too. Niating the onlooker. When Lu Shu thought of his name, he almost shouted in happiness. Niating was often very stern. People like Chen Zuan were very scared of him. When would you be able to put the words Niating and onlooker together? Niating glanced at Lu Shu. He did not know why Lu Shu had a mysterious smile in this situation. Why was he smiling? To be honest, Lu Shu was not very stressed. At first, he was very anxious. He was worried that there would be a frightening existence within the Death Valley. Everything was shrouded in mystery. Now, he knew that all of these had been caused by Ao Xian. Lu Shu could heave a sigh of relief knowing that he was someone that he could deal with, not an existence that was frightening and imaginary. Furthermore, Niating and Hai Gongzi were here. Back then, although Hai Gongzi had taken some time to recover after transforming into a Panlong, Lu Shu knew that he could not defeat Hai Gongzi in his Panlong form. There was a tinge of loneliness in Hai Gongzi's expression. The Dragon Clan has become a thing of the past. We have been eliminated by the passage of time. There is only this small, evil dragon. Let it grow. Aosian was furious. If I am able to obtain immortality, there is no need to worry that the dragon clan will no longer exist. We will be able to find a way eventually. The ancient E clan did not have the method for immortality. It's probably unknown. Hai Gongzi's tone turned cold. Even if they did, we can't let them return. Hai Gongzi turned and said to Lu Shu, "Release chaos." Lu Shu was dumbfounded. What if this old man steals chaos? Relax. Hai Gongzi said, he probably knows about the divine punishment, but he has never seen this small, evil dragon. Even if he's seen it before, it probably has no intention of fighting him. It has easily achieved the immortality that you wanted so badly. Lu Shu reluctantly released chaos. The moment chaos was released, it started to churn within the massive cave. It was very excited. When Aosian saw chaos, he was shocked. Black fog. It's the black fog. Why is this small dragon? Before Aosian could finish speaking, Lu Shu laughed out loud. One cannot judge a book by its cover. So you recognize the black fog. Aosian. Nya Ting. Chen Zuan. Hai Gongzi. From Aosian's distress, plus 666. Nya Ting, Hai Gongzi, and Chen Zuan all calmly looked at Lu Shu. No one thought that Lu Shu could say that. Was he so petty that he had to always take revenge? Aosian was dumbfounded. He had casually said that one could not judge a book by its cover. Was he still not over that? What was he going to say again? Aosian felt as if he had been hit by a stick again while he let his guard down. His emotions were all over the place. Are you crazy? Did you really have to take revenge for that? But he had no time to talk about this. Aosian stared at chaos. How was it able to absorb the black fog? Hai Gongzi calmly looked at him. The bones of this small dragon are made out of golden water. It absorbed the black fog to build its body. There was once an expert who used a mythical object as his body and used ghosts to build up on that body. But his body has not decayed as the mythical object is immortal. Lu Shu shouted, I didn't know about this. Nya Ting and Chen Zuan were evidently shocked. How did Lu Shu not know this? Lu Shu looked at Nya Ting and Chen Zuan in confusion. Neza. Aosian was helpless. Neza? Who is that? It's him. Our hero little Neza. Haven't you seen this cartoon before? Lu Shu teased. Aosian. Hai Gongzi. From Ao Hai's distress points, plus 666. From. They were all speechless. Something serious was about to happen, yet you had to ruin it with a lame joke. Chen Zuan was going to scream. Suddenly, a blade charged forth from underneath Nya Ting's black cloak.
What does it mean to be happy? 'Cause it looks like we all don't know. Glass half full or empty, then we just put 'em on the shelf. Try to look to the heavens.